history is often told through the lens of the familiar, the mighty Roman Empire, the pharaohs of Egypt, the emperors of China, but beneath the surface of these well-known civilizations lies a deeper, more fragmented layer of human history, the story of lost empires. These were powerful kingdoms that rose, flourished, and ultimately vanished, not because they lacked influence or sophistication, but because they were forgotten by time, overshadowed by the empires that followed. And yet, their impact remains all around us in our languages, religions, trade routes, architecture, and even the rhythms of our daily lives. One of the earliest and most influential of these was the Hittite Empire, centered in Anatolia, in what is now modern-day Turkey. Emerging around 1600 BCE, the Hittites were among the first civilizations to master iron smelting, giving them a powerful military edge. They built vast cities, developed a complex legal code, and engaged in high-level diplomacy with ancient Egypt. In fact, the world's first recorded peace treaty, the Treaty of Kadesh, was signed between the Hittites and Pharaoh Ramses II after years of brutal conflict. Yet despite their advances, the Hittite Empire collapsed around 1200 BCE during the mysterious Bronze Age collapse, a wave of destruction that swept across the eastern Mediterranean and brought down many ancient civilizations in just a few decades. The reasons remain: debated climate change, famine, invasion, and internal rebellion all likely played a part. From their ashes rose new powers, but the Hittites' achievements laid a foundation for governance and warfare that would ripple through millennia. Meanwhile, across the Red Sea and the highlands of East Africa, the Kingdom of Axum emerged as a major global player between the 1st and 7th century CE. Strategically located in present-day Ethiopia, Axum controlled key trade routes linking the Roman Empire, India, and Arabia. Axumite merchants traded gold, ivory, spices, and even enslaved people, and the kingdom became one of the first in the world to mint its own coinage, bearing Christian symbols, a sign of its early conversion to Christianity long before much of Europe. The massive stone obelisks still standing in Axum today speak to its architectural and engineering prowess, and yet Axum's influence eventually declined, likely due to shifting trade patterns, environmental degradation, and the rise of Islamic powers along the Red Sea that cut off its commercial access. The kingdom never truly disappeared. It evolved into the Christian Ethiopian Empire, but the memory of its golden age faded for centuries. In Southeast Asia, the Kampa kingdom thrived for more than a millennium, from the 2nd century CE until the 17th century. Along the central and southern coasts of what is now Vietnam, the Cham people were master seafarers, builders, and artists, influenced by Indian culture, religion, and aesthetics. They built towering Hindu temples like those at Mycenae and maintained diplomatic and trade ties stretching from China to India to the Middle East. Their naval power once rivaled that of the Khmer Empire, and their culture was both vibrant and distinct. Over time, however, they faced repeated invasions from the rising Vietnamese Kingdom of My Viet to the north. After centuries of conflict, Kampa was gradually absorbed and erased from political maps, though Cham communities and cultural remnants still survive today, offering a living glimpse into the legacy of a civilization that once ruled the waves. Moving north to Central Asia, the Khwarezmian Empire, which flourished during the 11th and 12th centuries in what is now Iran, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan, was a cultural and scientific hub during the Islamic Golden Age. It was home to advanced centers of learning, architecture, and administration. However, a single decision sealed its fate. In 1218, the Khwarezmian ruler Shah Ala ad-Din Muhammad ordered the execution of a trade caravan and Mongol envoys sent by Genghis Khan. The response was apocalyptic. In a matter of a few short years, the Mongols invaded with unrelenting force, leveling cities, slaughtering populations, and obliterating Khwarezm from existence. It serves as one of history, as most dramatic reminders of how the wrong political decision at the wrong time can trigger irreversible collapse. Yet Khwarezm had contributed greatly to Persian and Islamic culture, including innovations in astronomy, literature, and irrigation that outlived its destruction. Meanwhile, across the ocean in South America, long before the Inca Empire claimed dominion over the Andes, the Wari Empire laid much of the groundwork for what would follow. Between 500 and 1000 CE, the Wari developed a vast and centralized state, complete with administrative cities, complex irrigation systems, and an early version of the road networks that the Inca would later adopt and expand. Their capital, Huari, was one of the largest urban centers in the pre-Columbian Americas. Though the reasons for Wari's decline are not fully understood, evidence suggests climate change, drought, and social unrest played major roles. Unlike the Inca, the Wari left behind little in terms of written records, so their rediscovery has been pieced together slowly through archaeology. Nevertheless, the Wari are now recognized as a key precursor to later Andean civilizations, and their legacy is being rewritten with each new excavation. Turning west once more, we find the mysterious Kingdom of Tartessos, a wealthy and culturally advanced society that emerged in the southwestern Iberian Peninsula, around present-day Andalusia in Spain. Flourishing between the 9th and 6th centuries BCE, Tartessos was rich in silver and metals and was renowned for its trade connections with the Phoenicians and Greeks. Ancient authors described it as a city of great wealth, possibly even the source of the Atlantis legend mentioned by Plato. However, Tartessos disappeared almost entirely from historical records, possibly due to invasion by Carthaginians, shifts in trade, or internal decline. Today, its exact location and political structure remain shrouded in mystery, though archaeological discoveries suggest it was far more advanced than once believed. What unites all of these civilizations, Hittite, Axumite, Cham, Khwarezmian, Wari, Tartessian, is not just their fall, but their forgotten influence. These empires developed technologies, cultural practices, and systems of governance that shape the world in profound ways. Their stories challenge the conventional narrative that progress is linear, or centered only on a handful of great civilizations. Instead, history is a mosaic, interconnected and interdependent, with each piece telling part of a larger, more inclusive story of human development. Through modern archaeology, linguistics, and digital mapping, we're rediscovering these ancient worlds, dusting off the ruins, decoding the texts, and learning once again to listen to the voices long silenced. These lost empires may not dominate the pages of school textbooks, but their impact is undeniable. They remind us that history is not static. It evolves, deepens, and expands as we uncover more of the human journey. And perhaps most importantly, they teach us that no civilization, however powerful, is immune to time. But if remembered, even in fragments, they continue to shape us, guiding the arc of progress and understanding through the ages. Lost, but never gone, these forgotten kingdoms live on in the foundations of the modern world.